All right, we are recording for properly labeled chapter 2 of The Princess Bride, The Groom, which is about Humperdinck and is quite short. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages long. That's it. And in the, I don't know if this is just defending how short it is, a defense of how short it is, or if it's just to help with the Inception type framing narrative. And she starts with half a page explaining that this is the first major area that Goldman cut out Morgenstern because there were some 66 pages of the history of the Florinese crown, ultimately getting us to Prince Humperdinck, who is quite different from in the movie. I don't remember the actor's name, but I have a feeling that actor is quite happy he does not quite resemble what is described in the book for Humperdinck. Prince Humperdinck was shaped like a barrel. His chest was a great barrel, his thighs mighty barrel thighs. He was not tall, but weighed close to 250 pounds, brick hard. So an incredibly powerful man, physically. And it's actually somewhat interesting that, I'll get to it in a little bit. Wasn't in much hurry to be a king. Even war, which he excelled, took second place in his affections. Everything took second place in his affections. Hunting was his love. Just trying to look to would be the best place to pick up there. Although I guess I could just leave it there for a little bit. He loves hunting, and he is obsessive, very single-minded when he's on the hunt, and he will, like, if there's a flying squirrel that he chooses to hunt, he will hunt through the entire forest for it. And he will... Once he was determined, once he had focused on an object, the prince was relentless. He never tired, never wavered, neither ate nor slept. It was death, chess, and he was international grandmaster. Last line I didn't need to read there. But while reading this, even though it's been a day since I read The Bride, which introduces not only Buttercup, but also Wesley, and I realized that there were some parallels between Wesley and Humperdinck, with Humperdinck being sort of a grotesque version of Wesley, because they are both very disciplined people. It's like to achieve that physique that's being described for Humperdinck would be difficult. That would take great physical discipline, great mental discipline to keep focus on that, and also the mental discipline to hunt like a single flying squirrel through a forest, and the fact that he will do so without having to eat or sleep. And remember, Wesley was also described as he trained himself to not need sleep, so he could do 2 10-hour-a-day jobs, save up money, less what he needs to eat for his own survival, so he can buy a farm and bring Buttercup to America. So you do have the similarities there. There is also, Wesley does explain, the whole, he worked as essentially on Buttercup's farm. I don't know what her last name is, I wish I did know, but on the farm, and made himself strong because he thought that she would prefer a strong body. It's like, again, you do have the same discipline, but they're two very different things, and are practiced in two very different ways. Wesley, his discipline is for the benefit of his love, Buttercup. Humperdinck's is for the benefit of his love, hunting. Which also reminds me I should read one thing. Hunting was his love. He made it a practice never to let a day go by without killing something. He's not a good guy. But Wesley, his dedication to his love of Buttercup has seen him reduced to effectively a slave. He lives in a hovel. He is dressed in rags. He is mocked and scorned by her even, but his love for her is so great, he will not leave until it's, you do love me back? Okay, I gotta go and start making things happen. And even then, it's like he is taking on a sacrifice there because he wants her. It is all that discipline towards her. And Humperdinck, it does describe, he actually traveled the world for a while hunting because that is so much what he loves. But he can't anymore because his father, the king, is in such poor health that it's we kind of need to have a king of Florence, so I can't leave. So that's why he has a Zoo of Death made, which is 5 levels. The Pit of Despair in the movie is from the Zoo of Death, it seems, including that the albino tends the animals. There's 5 levels to this. It's all underground, and each level is for certain types of animals. Like the first level is for fast animals. So you've got the cheetah, the hummingbird. What's the other one? Wild dogs. That's it. Second level, those of great strength. Third level for poisonous. Fourth, for the most dangerous, the enemies of fear. Which I think one of them is an actual thing. The other two I'm not so sure about. The fifth level is empty, though, because he intends the cage there to hold the one animal he may find that is his equal. So I'm guessing that will be ultimately where Wesley is held. But in any case, yes, you do see he is like a grotesque, a perverted version of Wesley, in that his obsession with his love of hunting has turned him into a grotesque figure of a man. And nothing against those men out there who are in fact barrel-shaped. Yeah, but this seems a bit extreme. Okay, and yeah, I'll get to how it's even more extreme in a moment. But yeah, so he's turned all these things for that. His own internal pleasure is also a thing. It's like, why does he hunt? Because he wishes to. It's not because there's a value to the food that he that could come of the animal. I mean, he hunts hummingbirds as well. What good are they for food? Wesley's discipline for his love sees him doing everything for her. His focus is on her. It's external. It does bring him pleasure. It does bring him satisfaction because he loves her. But it is still, he is sacrificing. He is humbled in this way. Humperdinck doesn't care. He is just so focused on his own pleasure, his own enjoyment from the hunt. And it is one thing, while reading this, it does occur to me, is he actually going to end up being a mastermind or not? Because in the movie, he does seem to be, but that character is, at least visually, very different. And we don't get the same sense of him being so much a twisted but huntsman in that. I mean, yes, it is mentioned somewhat that he's the finest tracker in the world, all that. But that's... in the movie, that could be more of a boast, or that, yeah, he is really good, but he's not at the level they describe in the book. But anyway, as was mentioned, he will kill something every day, and depending on his mood, or he has a wheel that he spins it, and it just, there's an image of every animal on the wheel, whatever it stops at, that's what he will fight. He was ringing down the curtain on an orangutan when the business of the king's health made its ultimate intrusion. It was mid-afternoon, and the prince had been grappling with the giant beast since morning, and finally, after all these hours, the hairy thing was weakening. Now, I looked this up, because a lot of primates are a lot stronger than humans. An orangutan, males are capable of lifting up to 500 pounds and have a grip strength of about 600 pounds. They are considered to be about 7 times stronger than humans, depending on the type of strength you're measuring. And this dude's grappling with one, and is winning. And it goes on that, yeah, I'll just skip over a lot of that too. Count Rugen appears and is basically, I have news for you. Can I wait? No. So he just cracks the orangutan's spine so it'll fall dead. Well, maybe not dead yet, but certainly unable to do anything. Just does that so then he can come over and talk to Rugen. This guy is scary. I do kind of wonder what would happen, like him and Fezzik, because Fezzik is supposed to be a giant that even Andre the Giant was not sufficiently large for, but is just like Wesley does manage to deal with him, but that was, in the movie at least, is based on skill, that he knows how to get behind so that and handle Andre by basically a sleeper hold. But you know, there's no ill intent there or anything, but he manages to apply his nimbleness to his advantage, whereas here Humperdinck might be able to throw around Andre the Giant, which is frightening. Um, but what is the news? Your father has had his annual physical. I have the report. And your father is dying. Drat, said the prince. That means I shall have to get married. So it is... The marriage there is just a duty to him. It's not something he desires because his love is hunting. Which it will be interesting to see how some of this works out. Like, how does... In the movie, it seems like he just wants to go to war with Gilder. Maybe he thinks he can conquer it and he'll be a greater king. It's like, okay, that's fine. But here with the whole... It's the hunt that interests him. Why does he want a war with Gilder? Or is there something else going on here? I don't know. We'll find out. But it is also... We do have that kind of thing in here, though, that, yes, this is a duty for a prince or princess. I mean, more so prince, I guess, in this case, because it is a patrilineal line that they are concerned with for the ruler of Florin. So you'd expect it would be that the prince, come king, queen, must have a son. There wouldn't be there's a sister, and if she has a son, then that's the line may continue there. In some cases, that could be there would be situations that's exactly what would happen, what can happen. But it is sorry, my brain just turned off a little bit. But it is still like best if it could be a direct line, father to son, not father to nephew. But yeah, so this definitely an interesting read. The Humperdinck is different than you see in the movie. And it is interesting in that way. And I do, not interesting because it's so different from the movie, but how he is described I do find interesting, especially when I realize that there are certain similarities, certain grotesque reflections of Wesley here. And I do wonder how some of that may come to be later. And will there be a meaning for that later or not? It also then could prove interesting as far as in the movie with the ending. Yeah, I can keep talking. I'll try to keep it short. I'll likely fail, but I'll still try. At the end with the whole Humperdinck, Buttercup first calls it out, but then Wesley also points it out and takes advantage of it, that Humperdinck is in fact a coward. And right now what we have set up doesn't suggest that, unless you want to go with his constant need for hunting and even his physique is compensation, that he is so afraid that he tries to do these things so that he feels safe, that he feels, it doesn't matter who my enemy is, I am stronger than he is because I've made myself stronger than he is. I am more dangerous, more powerful than he is because I've made myself more dangerous and powerful than he is. And potentially even, I have fought, wild dogs, cheetahs, and hummingbirds. Has fought anacondas, rhinos, and crocodiles of over 20 feet. Spitting cobras, jumping spiders, death bats galore. The shrieking tarantula, I don't think that's real. I could be wrong, I don't think it's real. A bloody eagle, which thrives on human flesh. Only bird that thrives on human flesh. Again, I don't think that's real. Plus in its own black pool, the sucking squid. Okay, that's a real thing. Squid's actually real. But it's like, if he can conquer those, then obviously he can conquer a man. Except that those are all beasts. Men are not beasts. So I wonder if that is how we will end up seeing it revealed later. How he is a coward. That, yes, he is himself acting as a beast because he only really cares about different beasts. That's what he hunts. That's where his love is. So it will be interesting to see what may or may not happen there. But yeah. Definitely somewhat different from the film, and it is interesting to read it knowing the film as well as I do. Alright, so chapter 3 will be courtship. Yeah, it doesn't look too long. about 10 pages. So, okay. Don't have anything more. I feel like there are some points I might be able to try to ramble together, but probably best if I don't. All right. Although I will just say this. I think I already did say it, but I will say it again. I did like, enjoy this chapter. Um, it didn't feel like anything was overdone or overpracticed. No real over the top melodrama like what we were seeing in The Bride in the previous chapter, but it's yeah. All right. See you next time.